I was like 20.
Yeah.
Lived near Milano. A little town called Sereno. I guess it's around all over.
Wow. Wow, what a great experience. You miss that kind of stuff.
I did a lot of it, so obviously I'd love to do it again. Not the hockey part, but the travel part. I'm not have to pay for it.
Yeah.
I would. Let's see if I can get an ETA on it.
Yeah.
Oh, she's walking in right now.
Perfect.
So I don't we take public comment. What would you do?
I would just do it. Yeah, that's
Like
kind
at the end.
of, yeah.
Okay.
Public comments on the agenda? It's up here.
Yeah. We were talking about.
Well, okay, yeah. That's or just do it like at the end.
That's where it's always at. It's always been up there at the top. It's never been there before.
Hey, hey,
Somebody has strong feelings about the reorganization.
right on time.
Yeah, it's big time.
Whoa!
I guess just do it in order.
You're doing invitation, right?
Pastor Paul, yes.
But, okay, it's not me.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot to look at that part. I looked at the agenda, but
Always like,
I forgot to look at the top.
Are we live?
Yeah.
All right, good evening, everyone. It's 6 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's March 13th, 2025, and this is our special council meeting. Lori, can I get roll call, please?
Mayor Young,
Here.
Vice Mayor Sartori,
Here.
Councilmember Brandon,
Here.
Councilmember Painter,
Here.
Councilmember French.
Here via Zoom.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any communications from the citizens tonight? Okay. I'll roll on to the first agenda item, council oath of office for myself for seat 2 and Patrick Painter for seat 4.
We'll just do this together.
Okay. Stand right here or come down?
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Patrick
Aliana,
Painter,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and government of the United States
and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida
and of the state of Florida
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
domestic or foreign,
domestic or foreign,
and that I will bear true faith,
and that I will bear true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance
loyalty, and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
and that I am entitled to hold office
and that I am entitled to hold office
under the Constitution,
under the Constitution,
and that I will faithfully perform
and that I will faithfully perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of council member,
of the office of council member,
seat
Seat 2.
4,
on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Yay. moving on to agenda item 2 for the Village Council reorg, we'll take a call for nominations for the mayor.
So you can, as you know, the charter requires council to appoint a mayor and a vice mayor annually. We can either take one or more nominations that may be out there, or somebody can make a motion, and we can take it that way. It's the council's choice.
Okay.
So I will nominate Molly Young to stay in the seat of mayor.
You accept that nomination?
Yes.
Are there any other nominations for the mayor's seat?
If it's the same, do I need to nominate? Okay, nope. Good.
All right,
I would like to
then.
nominate Vice Mayor Sartori for the mayor's seat.
All right, Mr. Sartori, do you accept that nomination?
Yes, I will accept.
Okay, so we have 2 nominations on the floor, and the proper procedures to vote on them in the order that they were made. The first nomination was for Molly Young to serve as mayor for the upcoming year. I think it would be appropriate, since we have 2 nominations, to do roll call vote. If we can do a roll call vote on the nomination for Molly Young.
Okay, Mayor Young,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sartori,
No.
Councilmember Brandon,
Yes.
Councilmember Painter,
Yes.
and Councilmember French.
No.
All right, that motion carries 3-2. Or the nomination was approved 3-2, so Councilmember Young, Mayor Young, you are appointed as mayor for the upcoming, the next year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, same process for the seat of vice mayor. We can take nominations, or someone can make a motion at the council's pleasure for the office of vice mayor.
I will nominate Rick Satori. Oh, sorry, I stole your
Nope,
thunder.
it's fine, go ahead.
I will nominate Rick Satori.
Mr. Sartori, do you accept that nomination?
Yes, I do.
Are there any other nominations for the office of vice mayor for the upcoming year? Hearing none, let's go ahead and have a roll call vote on the nomination for Mr. Sartori.
Mayor Young,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sartori,
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon,
Yes.
Councilmember Painter,
Yes.
Councilmember French.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Sartori, Mr. Vice Mayor, congratulations for the next term. You're the Vice Mayor. And that concludes our reorganization. I'll turn it back over to the mayor for the rest of the agenda.
Thank you. And the final agenda item is council remarks. Council, open the floor.
Just say congratulations to both of you, and you're both extremely talented, and either of you could have done the job, I'm sure, but I think this will only strengthen our council as we move forward, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as a whole, I'm very pleased with what we have accomplished in the past year. I am pleased with the representation we have at different league lunches and other conferences and whatnot in Tallahassee. Our budget we started discussing, and I'm very pleased that we are having very effective conversations back and forth, and we are finding compromises and solutions and listening to the people. And so I am pleased with the way things have been going, and I hope we continue that for the next year.
Councilmember French?
Thank you, Mayor. And yes, Mayor, wanted you to know that my vote for Councilman Mayor Sartori was not of the job you're doing as mayor. I think you do a phenomenal job, and anybody who takes your seat in the future are going to have some big shoes to fill. It was just my belief to rotate the mayor's position and offer some checks and balances for the future. But you have done an amazing job around the village, the county, and the state. People around this entire state know not to mess with Quest, and you're one big reason why. So thank you for all your hard work. And if I could add also, in the short time that I've known you, got to serve with you, I've learned a lot in really just a few months. And so I appreciate that you possess some of the skills that I do not, and I can learn from.
Thank you.
And I echo what has been said this evening. My vote for myself and my no vote for our mayor, reappointed mayor, had nothing to do with, more so my desire to, it was my desire to be mayor. But Molly's done a great job. I have said that to her quite often. She does so many things and has done things, and I like to think that I am following in her footsteps to put Tequesta, on the map in places that people don't see. The League of Cities at the state level, the Florida League of Cities, the TPA, and all the different places where we can insert ourselves. And Molly has done an admirable job and a tremendous job, and I am very honored to serve as vice mayor next year for another year. So thank you.
Thank you, and those words are very much appreciated, not necessary. It's always at the council's pleasure, and I do think that you would do a great job as well. And it's never a bad thing to see other leadership skills up here, so thank you for the kind words, though. Councilmember Painter, congratulations on being sworn in for your second term. That's a big deal.
You too.
And I'll just say I'm really proud of this council as a whole. Anytime I'm out and about, everyone comes up to me and has so many positive things to say about Tequesta and our council. And I know the vice mayor is so proud to serve in that role, and he is such great support, and he's very involved with things throughout the county and state as well. We were just up at Palm Beach County Days, and we divided and conquered. He went to meetings that I couldn't go, and I went to others. So it's really great to have that support up here. And just truly, I'm going on my 5th year now as council and 4th as mayor, and to this day it's humbling. It's such a privilege to serve the community at this capacity, and I think it'll always be humbling. So again, thank you, everyone. Very much appreciate it. All right, with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, do we need to take a pause between meetings, or are you guys ready to roll in the regular meeting?
Let's roll.
Okay. So it is 6:09 p.m., March 13th, 2025. It's our regular council meeting. Lori, can I get roll call?
Mayor Young,
Here.
Vice Mayor Sartori,
Here.
Councilmember Brandon,
Here.
Councilmember Painter,
Here.
Councilmember French.
Here, via Zoom.
Okay. The invocation and pledge of allegiance tonight will be by Vice Mayor Sartori.
I would like to ask Pastor Paul to come on up and offer us the invocation, and then I will follow up with the pledge.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Sadori. It's always an honor and privilege to lead our meetings in prayer. I don't know how other municipalities do their business, but it's an honor to know that we have had prayer here before we start each meeting, ever since I've been here for over 22 years. And it's just a wonderful thing to have a village that starts with prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. It means the world. So thank you all so very much. All right, Heavenly Father, we pause to give you thanks for this day, for this occasion. We are grateful, Father, for our mayor, our vice mayor, for all of our counselors, Lord Jason and Lori and Patrick, and for our village attorney, Keith, for our village manager, Jeremy, for Lori, our clerk, God. I'm just so thankful for them. And Lord, I sovereignly believe that you have put them in place to govern our city, and I pray for great wisdom and direction for them in the year ahead. Thank you for them, God, and we pray your blessing over them. And for all of our departments, Lord, here I am just so very grateful for each one who serves, for every department head, every employee, Father. I had a chance to get to know almost all of them, and very thankful for that. And for our public safety, Father, my goodness, for our police and fire, for Chief Medina and Chief McLaughlin, God, and for those men and women that do such a stellar job, Father, professional job in keeping our residents safe. And I'm just asking your hedge of protection over them as they watch over us, Father. And then, Lord, I want to pray for our country tonight. Thank you for our nation, Lord. Nothing is perfect, of course, but thank you for our country that we can meet together here tonight and without fear. I pray, Father, for our men and women that are serving us in the armed forces, for every one of them, Father, for their families. That you watch over them, Father, and keep them safe. And then, Lord, tonight I want to pray for the McGrew family. Boy, I pray for our Assistant Chief McGrew and for his dear wife, Dina, and their daughter, Jenna, during these very sad and difficult days. I pray, Father, for your grace and your peace and your mercy and your comfort over them. Thank you, Father, we can support them and be an encouragement to them in these days. And I just commit this wonderful family to you tonight, Father. Now go before us as we conduct the business of our village. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, on to presentations. First tonight is a presentation of the Abby Brennan Mayor Award. And I am pleased to announce that tonight I'd like to recognize Marcia Nielsen with the Abby Brennan Mayor Award. Marcia's unwavering commitment and dedication to our community embodies the definition of a servant leader. From her early contributions on the Community Appearance Board before 1991 and 1995 through 1997, to her spirited work with the village's History Committee, Marcia has consistently demonstrated an infectious passion for preserving and enhancing our community. Her weekly volunteer work at the Jupiter Inlet Museum further underscores her commitment to local history and heritage. In 2021, Marcia continued to selflessly give up her time as she served on the Charter Review Board, ensuring that the village's foundational constitution remained current and responsive. Marcia's presence and valuable input at countless village council meetings and workshops, her limitless hours of diligent research, and willingness to support the clerk and manager again represents her love and dedication for our community. Lastly, Marcia was an avid supporter of the development of Remembrance Park, even helping with the plaques that will be displayed as historical markers and donating bricks. And I'm sure she is happy to see that park open in the spring. So Marcia, everything you've done for the betterment of our community never goes unnoticed. Thank you for everything you do, and congratulations. Yay. Speech. Marcia, would you like to say anything? No. Just checking. All right, moving on to proclamation proclaiming April as Water Conservation Month.
Whereas water is a basic and essential need of every living creature. Whereas the state of Florida water management districts and the village of Tequesta are working together to increase awareness about the importance of water conservation. Whereas the village of Tequesta in the state of Florida has designated April, typically a dry month when water demands are most acute, Florida's Water Conservation Month, to educate citizens about how they can help save Florida's precious water resources. Whereas the village of Tequesta has always encouraged and supported water conservation through various educational programs and special events. Whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can make a difference when it comes to conserving water. And whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can help by saving water and thus promote a healthy economy and community. Whereas efficient irrigation design, programming, and maintenance can conserve water. The village of Tequesta will encourage citizens and businesses to evaluate their irrigation systems for potential efficiency enhancements. Now therefore be it resolved by the virtue and authority vested in the mayor of the village of Tequesta, does hereby proclaim April as Water Conservation Month.
we appreciate everything that our water utility department does, and we know that they're always looking at ways to be efficient and conserve as much as possible, not just water, but energy as well. So, and are we going to put out some messaging this month for that, or are there any plans for that? Perfect, thank you. All right, moving on to the final presentation, agenda M3, proclamation proclaiming March as Florida Bike Month. Is there anyone here to accept it? So we won't be reading that into record. Are we going to do any messaging on that as well, or?
We can.
Maybe something, put something like on the Friday News Blast. Right, moving on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any communications from citizens for items that are not on the agenda tonight?
I don't have any cards.
Okay. Moving on to communications from council.
I'm good.
I don't have anything else.
As the mayor referenced, we were in Tallahassee last week for Palm Beach County Day, the opening day of session. And it's one of those things where kind of go to be seen. But we did have the opportunity to meet with, I believe, 11 of the 13 of our Palm Beach County delegation between the mayor and myself. As we learned up there, and we continue to learn because of the great communication of our village manager and the League of Cities, is that some of the things that that impact the village, like our enterprise funds for our utilities, seem to, taking away and stripping our ability to impose extraterritorial fees, take certain amounts to cover administrative costs out of those funds, of excess funds, stripping those away from us seems to be just flying through committee. And some other things that we're monitoring closely. So it was interesting up there. It's a different session. You get a different feel because the governor and the party in charge really aren't all on the same page. But it was great. And the only other thing that I will say, and it's a topic change, is really golf carts and safety. We had it'll be 2 weeks tomorrow. We had a beautiful 37-year-old mother of two fall off a golf cart, and she lost her life. Freak accident, freak everything. But it just goes to prove that none of us are, we're all vulnerable, none of us are bulletproof. And as we see more e-bikes, and I said this at the workshop last week, as we see more e-bikes and more golf carts, please, and I know our police department does a tremendous job of enforcement, but seatbelts are so important, helmets are important, because we lost a great member of this community who won't see her two children grow up, a 3-year-old and an 18-month-old. But there's a strong family support network here and a friend network, and we're all working through all that. So again, just my personal plea, please be careful on your golf carts and your e-bikes. So thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilmember French.
Yes, I had 2 comments. Thank you, Mayor. I attended the March Association meeting for the Beach Road Association. Peter DeWitt was one of the presenters there. He's the Jupiter Lighthouse Bureau of Land Management and project manager for the Shoreline project coming up, starting this year, 2025. And he gave a nice proposal like he did to the council not so long ago. Answer some of the citizens' questions, which was nice, and a little bit less formal dialogue, and then gave an update of an August 2026 completion of the Jupiter Inlet shoreline area to be complete. I'm also presenting that at that meeting was Tom Bradford. He is the president of the new Tequesta Civic Association. Mr. Bradford presented some items on the Civic Association, mentioning the creation, and also it's basically a group of concerned citizens that came together to assist in preserving and enhancing the village the best they can. So I don't know if I broke up right there, but that was the end of my comments.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I don't really need to go on the Palm Beach County Days, Vice Mayor already brought up, but I know it's interesting because I served on the Finance and Taxation Committee for the Florida League of Cities, and in my meetings, that property taxes got brought up the most, and the legislators actually brought it up first, not me, and there are a lot of bills out there to amend our current property tax structure. And there's just some concern with municipality on how some of the current proposed plans, how we're gonna recover those funds. You know, a lot of the conversation is, a lot of the municipalities, you know, good portion, ours is almost half of the general fund goes to public safety. So like, how are we gonna, you know, fund those essential services if they start stripping away property taxes? I'm kind of been advocating for, you know, maybe after session, can, you know, the legislators can meet with stakeholders and have a more holistic approach in meeting to discuss property tax reform instead of like 100 and something bills that are out there right now. Because it's all over the place, it's hard to track, and I think it warrants a more collaborative discussion if there's going to be change. So that was kind of my focus when I was up there, and it came up a lot. And then the other thing, the BDB had a mayor's roundtable yesterday that I attended, and it was interesting because, you know, they attract usually larger businesses that want to relocate here, and DeQuesta doesn't have much to offer for large businesses. We don't have the land, we don't have the height. So, you know, I kind of asked, well, what value do we add to your mission or vision? And, you know, really, I think what it comes down to is DeQuesta is a place that people who are moving here look to live. So we are, which, you know, makes sense. We have a sense of community. People want to live here. So it was not interesting, I would say just kind of confirmation that, you know, we do have such a good sense of community that people that are moving here are, you know, are always looking here to live in DeQuesta. And then two things that, you know, we care about and are working on too is education in regards to the schools and quality of schools, whether it's private or public, and also transportation. So the Mayor of Jupiter brought up transportation, the Mayor of Palm Beach Gardens brought up transportation, and the BDB is gonna kind of assist in the efforts on transportation, and talked about maybe doing some interactive platforms on their website that inform people more that are coming here about the transportation options. So transportation is definitely being talked about with every stakeholder, I feel like, in the county right now. So that is all I have. Okay, moving on to the village attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations, Mr. Painter, Ms. Young, for being re-sworn in. Look forward to another great year. You know, in terms of the village attorney's office, things are in pretty good shape with the village right now, which is good because I got a lot of things to pay attention to in the legislative session besides everything you guys brought up. I mean, there are preemptions about accessory dwelling units in single-family zones, about artificial turf, about building permits for single-family homes, about the public beach access and the customary use doctrine, and it goes on and on. There's a lot of things being proposed as legislation this year that, as we do every year, we'll be monitoring, and you'll get a comprehensive report from my office at the close of the session on how everything shook out. So I know I appreciate all the work you guys do on the state level in terms of conveying your support for local home rule. So I'll leave it at that, and unless you have any questions for me, that's my report.
Council, any comments, questions? Okay. Village manager?
Thank you, Mayor. You guys got an email from me. Now it's public. It's on Palm Beach Post, I think. But Martin County has declined to do a quiet zone for that crossing. So, you know, obviously we're still moving forward with our partnership with the TPA and the FDOT. But just know that there's an expectation there that the horn's still going to blow. So, just being mindful of that. The last food truck event was last Friday. Kittleson and Son, along with Kittleson and Sons, along with Jay and the planning staff, were out there. We had over 100 residents that came out to their booth and gave feedback. So it's really nice to see. You know, a lot of those residents don't come to meetings and don't always provide feedback. So it was good to kind of get some opinions on mobility and connectivity and some things that we can work on in the city. Jay and I went to a meeting hosted by Palm Beach Gardens today to discuss impact fees. I think there were like 10 municipalities that were represented there that are either working on mobility or in the process of adopting their fees. Ultimately, by October 1st, we have to enter into an interlocal agreement with the county on who's going to collect the impact fees. So I think, kudos to our council for being, kind of getting in front of the curve with the mobility planning and fees, because ultimately that'll help guide us and allow us to collect those impact fees and be able to use them back in our community. So that's, I think we're on the right path. After today's meeting, I felt good about it. So, I just give credit to Jay for the part, and TPA for partnering with us, and Jay for seeking that out and getting the grant. So I appreciate Jay working on that. That's my report.
Any comments or questions?
Not for me.
I have one quick question, because I know the meeting happened when we were in Tallahassee. How did the EAC had a Living Shoreline workshop last week?
Jay, maybe you want to
How
give an
was that?
update on that?
We had about 10 people. It was relatively
To the
small.
podium.
Yeah, we had about 10 residents show up. It was relatively small, but the speakers were fantastic. Wish that more people would come. But yeah, it was a good event.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on, Police Department.
Evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, Village Manager, Village Clerk. You do have my monthly report. A couple of highlights I want to bring out, a couple of things that didn't make it, is we have our civilian firearms class as it continues. As I had said last time, we are completely booked up until July. We're going to do 2 or 3 additional classes since we have all the equipment, just because there's such a demand for it. So we're going to continue, even though that part won't be covered by the grant, we're going to continue to do it. We had a few ride-alongs this month. I want to talk about the weekly our Explorers meetings. They're going well. They're doing a phenomenal job. I want to thank Vice Mayor Sartori for allowing us and coordinating a tour of the Palm Beach County Jail. They truly enjoyed it, so thank you on behalf of the Explorers. They also attended the Turtle Fest in Juno Beach. They helped out with that. Our Explorers were there, did a great job. All of the officers were just recertified in CPR. I want to thank Lieutenant Andre Dodd and firefighter paramedic James Stack for conducting the training for the guys and the gals. 4/19, yes, on the 29th, right? 29th, we'll be having a boaters course here in Village Hall on a Saturday. It will be put on by the U.S. Coast Guard, and we will be hosting it. We have filled the class with 30 people. We're going to put it right back out for April 26th. Right, sounds good? Yeah, April 26th, we're going to do a second class for people to be able to attend the boaters course. It will be held here in the village, and that's all I have. If anyone has any questions.
Thank you. Council, any comments or questions for Chief?
Not for me.
No, ma'am.
No, thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fire Department.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, Assistant Mayor, Council. So lots of meetings this month. Started meeting with more department heads and getting ready for hurricane season. Met with Ms. McWilliams about roles and responsibilities with the city clerk's office within emergency management, and starting to ramp up the rest of my staff, the girls, to get them some redundancy within public information and just FOIA, and all on the same page, because there was a disconnect, and now we are all moving forward together with that, so we won't have any concerns with HIPAA or any of those other concerns that we were having in the past. We did some more training on public records recently with Mary Ann. It was extremely informative for me because I had never done anything with public records, so this is all new, learning as I go. We conducted driver engineer training across all 3 shifts. Just about everybody is complete with the exception of a couple of the newer employees. And we shored up our relationship with Palm Beach State College. We are going to be conducting search and rescue training out at the college. We have a certain amount of money from trading them a ladder truck while Chief Troop was here, so we're going to start utilizing some of that and getting those guys over there to train. We had a retiree breakfast, which I actually cooked for some of the retirees. It was not a big turnout, but it certainly wasn't from the cooking. They enjoyed it, and we had a good time. I got to meet some of the retirees. Our Easter open house is 4/12 at 9 a.m. The flyer is actually attached. Let's see. Mr. Sartori, you mentioned that golf cart accident. The men and women of Tequesta Fire did an absolutely amazing job in probably one of the most adverse situations, a young mother. It hits home because her husband is a firefighter in Broward County. So it was, and I know his friends, I don't know him personally. But we had a busy month, the end of the month with trauma calls. We had 2 chainsaw accidents, but they did such a phenomenal job. Their training kicked in, and they did a great job, and I was very proud of all of their efforts. Let's see, we talked about that, and then we are preparing for our mid-year ISO visit. I'll be putting out a couple of new SOGs to try to capture some more points to get us to that ISO 1 within community risk reduction and public education. That'll be an on-demand program. I'm actually in the process of getting my fire life safety educator license, so we will have one. Then I want to get somebody else up so we have some redundancy there. I talked to Mr. Allen the other day. We're going to start rolling out our hurricane season stuff probably in April, and I will also have a timeline for the CERT team. We're going to rebrand our non-combat volunteer program. We're going to rebrand them as part of CERT. And I talked to Mr. Allen. He's going to help me with the training as he's a CERT educator as well. So that's about all I have. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you. Council?
I have one.
Sure.
since
Now, when
you
he said
knew.
Mr. Allen, it wasn't this Mr.
No,
Allen.
it was Peter Allen.
Peter
Sorry.
Allen, all right.
Yeah.
That-
Peter.
He says CERT.
Am I
He says,
certified?
yeah, sorry about that. Sorry.
Wait a second.
You can pretty much
I mean to
just
put you on the spot.
You can just say Peter. We all know who you're talking
Okay,
about.
all right. He's the only IT guy I know that carries a gun, so a little different. But, yeah.
But since you are new, are
Yes.
Are we keeping the water rescue training?
Yeah, they're actually, I think I have it on here. They are doing their swim test. They did 1 shift swim test this morning.
Okay.
So they are going to continue moving
I'm
forward.
a supporter of that. So it's
And I'm trying to move forward with that because I come from a department that had a very robust dive rescue team. And I want to try to keep moving forward with it and enhance it even further and get just about everybody that wants to be certified, they can be certified and be part of that team. Okay? Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Utilities Department.
Good evening, Marjorie Craig, Utilities Department. Thank you very much. And most of the news is in the report. I did want to report out, however, that we got the $145,000 in grant money back and reimbursement for the vulnerability assessment. And we are also going out to bid for the filter plant, filter rehab on Monday. And the next thing that you'll see going out to bid will be probably the membrane replacement, unless we get the agreement back for water main number 2 Beach Road. We're still answering a lot of questions from DEP, even though we submitted everything, about 5 or 6 emails, different email. You got one of them today, so. With that, I have some pictures in here. Some various goings-on. The fire hydrants we're replacing about $50,000 a year, so that's why the pictures are there. Also, starting the next report, you'll start seeing this update of the CIP projects, the major CIP projects for the Utilities Department that are over $300,000. We also, of course, have many other projects. The dashboard for earning money, according to the is increasing, or the total revenues increasing, of course, and as it does every month during the fiscal year. And with that, are there any questions?
Council?
Thank you, Marjorie.
No questions, but I really like the CIP report, that we can see it. And
Good.
just those little updates. That way we don't have to talk about everything, but to see that. And I'm really excited to see the Dover Ditch start to move.
As soon as we get that
All of
permit-
them, but the Dover Ditch seems
Yes,
like it's
yeah.
been on there forever.
As soon as we get the permit, we'll be bidding that out as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, onto the regular agenda, old business, agenda item 12, ordinance number 01-25, to amend our construction hours and other noise on the weekends.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 0125, ordinance of the Village Council, Village of Tequesta, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances at Chapter 30, Environmental Control, Article 10, Noise, Section 30, 361 prohibited noise generally, to revise the permissible hours for construction and other noise-generating activity on Saturdays, providing that each and every other section, subsection, in Chapter 30 shall remain in full force and effect as previously adopted, providing conflicts clause, severability clause, authority to codify effective date, and for other purposes. This is second reading.
Okay, thank you. Council, and Wayne, you don't have anything from last time yet. Any comments, questions, council?
No, I have none.
Any public comment? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Agenda item 13, ordinance number 04-25, which is a second reading of amendments to the General Employees Pension Trust Fund.
Thank you, Mayor. Ordinance 04-25, an ordinance of the Village Council, Village of Tequesta, Florida, amending the Code of Ordinances of Chapter 2, Administration, by amending Section 2-61, Pension Trust Funds, Exhibit A, General Employees Pension Trust Fund, Section 11, Optional Forms of Benefit, by amending subsection 1 to provide for a 75% optional form of benefit, by amending, providing conflicts clause, severability clause, authority to codify effective date, and for other purposes.
Thank you, Keith. Council, any comments or questions?
No, ma'am.
No. Any public comment? Can I get a motion?
So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
On to new business. Agenda item 14, consider approval of Win & Sons proposal for milling, paving, and striping 6 open cut repairs on Country Club Drive. I think it's Marjorie, or is it Doug? It says Marjorie on here.
Doug's gonna be by my side. Marjorie Craig, Utilities Director with Doug, too. So this particular agenda item is the 6 open cuts that were as a part of the repair of the Country Club Drive project, which is water main number 4, for a cost of $91,998. We are leveraging an existing contract that the council already passed, and that pricing, which was more favorable to the village than the original contractor.
Thank you. Council, any comments or questions?
No, ma'am.
No?
Thank you.
Any public comment? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Always good to save money. Thank you, Doug.
Yes, thank you, Doug.
Agenda item 15, consider approval of fiscal year 2025 roadway capital improvements.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. As previously discussed at the workshop last week, we are continuing in our road improvement plan. It is a long-term plan. We're actively working on that plan every year. We do go out and assess our roads on an annual basis, and we're also providing maintenance throughout the year where needed. We are also leveraging the Palm Beach County piggyback contract with Win & Sons for this year's road improvement projects. This year we'll be milling and paving Fairway East, Fairway West. We'll also be adjusting 9 manholes on Gulfview Drive. And from there we're moving to Bayview Terrace, Bayview Road, Bayview Court, Shady Lane. And from there we move to Tequesta Pines, Buttonwood Circle, Beechwood Trail, Pine Hill Trail West, which is west of Riverside Drive, Chestnut Trail, and Cedar Hill Lane. Funding for this project for this year's road improvements is approved in the budget. Again, we will be utilizing the piggyback contract with Win & Sons Construction. The total cost of this project is $688,861.35. And if approved tonight, we are looking to move forward in mid-April, the next set of roads. Any questions?
Any comments or questions, council?
Very nice.
I'm done.
That's great.
Okay, any public comment? Can I get a motion?
So
Oh.
moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item 16, consider approval of grant agreement between DeQuesta and DEP for DeQuesta Park in the amount of $681,776.
Thank you, Mayor. This is
$767, sorry.
This is 9 we've been working on for a couple of years. This year, the state has agreed through the appropriation process to give us money for Tequesta Park. Originally, we thought we were going to be getting really the short end of the 65-35 split, and we were actually told that when we actually got the appropriation. We got the high side of it, so we got up to $681,000, and our portion would be $380,000. We have put aside $250,000 of matching funds for this to cover our costs in this. You guys probably saw before we amended the agenda, we removed the Kimley Horn agreement that would be next on it. That was in the amount, our part would have been $178,000. It was a $500,000 agreement to do the construction plans for Tequesta Park. When we put that all together pretty quickly, you know, I had them update it, their cost. What I didn't account for was that, you know, we got more money than we thought we would. So the money that we have set aside for the $250, we want to try to maximize the grant. So the Kimley Horn agreement was not ready for prime time, so I did pull that agenda so we can go back to the drawing board and make sure that we capture, you know, get as far as we can with the plans, try to hopefully get it closer to 100%. There was some exceptions in that Kimley Horn agreement and some things that we didn't fund because we didn't think we were going to have the money in it. So what we're doing tonight is just the approval of the agreement with FDEP for the money for the appropriation. And so we'll approve that tonight, and then we'll actually begin the work, you know, and bring that to you guys probably at the workshop. We'll discuss the master plan and discuss the scope of that. And that way, by the time we come back to the next meeting, we'll have everything fully baked for you guys.
Thank you. Council, any comments or questions?
No, ma'am.
I have none.
Councilmember French, do you have any comments or questions?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Just one on the grant agreement. It doesn't say like the fees for entitlement and permitting is included in the scope anywhere, but I think you confirmed it. They will cover those costs too?
Yes, it is included in the cost.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify, it doesn't specifically say it, but they'll be able to cover that too. So, and I appreciate you taking the time to pull this item and look through the agreement and make sure we're maximizing those funds. Cause that, yeah, I'm not gonna complain that we got doubled in what we thought, right? Might as well try to use all of it. So, okay, and so 17 we will skip since that's been removed.
We just need to approve 16.
Oh, I'm sorry, we not approved 16.
I have two.
And there's public comment too. Glory?
Marcia Nielsen.
Marcia Nielsen, 94 Beechwood. First of all, I want to say how thrilled I am to be Volunteer of the Year, but that doesn't mean I'm going to shut up.
Wouldn't expect it. Wouldn't want
This
that.
is just kind of points to ponder. The present Tequesta Park lease ends in July 55, approximately 30 years from today. That seems like a long time, however, given the scope of the project and what would be involved regarding funding plans, etc. I would venture that the greater percentage of the contract time would have elapsed before construction would have been completed. And all permanent structures would revert to the state if the contract is not signed. We've had this contract with the state for many years, beginning with Roy Rood. However, in light of events last year regarding the state's attempt to place 3 golf courses and supporting services at Jonathan Dickinson, I am very apprehensive that the village can count on a shared vision with the state. JD was saved by residents' protest and media attention, but we could not hope for the same leverage if we were in a similar situation. Our residents voted for a lovely plan which would enhance the recreational opportunities for everyone. However, I do question whether they are aware that the park does not belong to Tequesta, that we are responsible for the maintenance of every facet of the park, that we cannot discriminate as to who uses the park, and that the state could easily and swiftly take the park back. In addition, there is much concern in the community about cost-cutting measures in Washington which could possibly result in the selling of the Bureau of Land Management property at Lighthouse. Although this seems inconceivable, it is not beyond the realm of possibility. The village should take any action to be vigilant and involved. I'm not against this. I'm just saying be careful, be careful, be careful. Because the political atmosphere at the federal level and I think at the state level has changed from conservation to growth, and that really scares me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other cards, Lori?
Marie Speary? No? Okay. No.
Okay. Any other public comment? Okay, now I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Okay, and now we will skip agenda item 17. Move on to 18, consider approval of the Palm Beach County local option gas tax renewal. Keith?
Okay, so you've discussed this in the workshop. As you're all aware, the county has imposed for the last 30 years, actually 11 cents in gas tax. The 5-cent piece is not up for renewal at this time. It continues to move forward. But the 6-cent gas tax by statute is a local option tax that has a 30-year term. This was originally put on the books in 1995, so here we are 30 years later. The statute allows the county to re-up the gas tax, and the county is looking to do that for another 30-year term. The resolution that is before you would authorize the mayor to sign an interlocal agreement with the county, and the interlocal agreement is not so much you saying that you're for or against the renewal of the gas tax. Rather, it has to do with the distribution formula of how those proceeds are distributed between the county and the municipalities once they're collected. The statute allows the stakeholders to enter into an interlocal agreement and fashion their own distribution formula. If that's not done, then there is a statutory formula that is sort of the fallback default position, which is less beneficial to the municipal side than the interlocal agreement. The interlocal agreement would reaffirm and re-ratify the distribution formula that's been in place for the past 30 years. It does not propose any change to that. It gives you some examples of with exhibits of what the revenue looks like with current municipalities spread. It as the previous agreements did, it provides a formula in the event a new municipality is incorporated or an existing municipality is unincorporated, and how those funds get redistributed. But in order for the interlocal agreement to be effective, enough municipalities have to pass it that represent a majority of the county population that resides in a municipality. So once enough municipalities pass it that capture 50% plus one of the population in municipalities, that will pass regardless of whether anybody else passes it or not.
Do you know where that's at right now? 'Cause the last update we got from the league, not that many cities had passed it yet.
It's getting more traction. This seems like this month is the month that a lot of people have it. Some have as counsel for the league, this week I got Green Acres, which is a medium-sized municipality, and South Bay came through. It's on our agenda tonight. If I recall correctly, Executive Director Radcliffe seemed to indicate that some of the larger cities like Delray and maybe Boynton or Boca were going to have it on their agendas this month. But as we sit here tonight, I don't know if either of those have passed. My understanding is if we get to a point where two of those larger cities adopt it, with the cities that have already adopted it, in addition to that, it will trip the 50% threshold.
Great, thank you. Council, any comments, questions?
No.
No. Any public comment? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Agenda item 19, resolution number 06-25 to encourage Palm Beach municipalities and other stakeholders to collaborate with the county for a countywide transportation plan.
Thank you, Mayor. So this resolution actually was drafted many months ago. And since it's been drafted, and basically this is a show of support for the process. There's no, unlike the previous resolution, there's no threshold that has to be tripped for anything to happen. It's simply a gesture of, yes, we're in support of a regional transportation plan and the process that's generally described in the resolution. Since it's been drafted and circulated, it's my understanding that the procurement has actually already is in process. The RFP is out on the street, as they say, and the process is moving forward. I believe the county adopted its own resolution, which is a little less specific than the resolution before you, which pretty much just kind of describes the way the intergovernmental coordination program would be modified to create iPark 2, and it describes the role of the City Managers Association in fostering this through the system. The county's resolution is in support of the process, but it doesn't describe it. I'm not aware of a different process that's been proposed than what's basically specified in this resolution. But so that's what this is before you. It proposes a show of support for this pretty big project, regional transportation plan.
I think we've talked about this one a couple times, and yeah, it was on county's consent, so they didn't really even discuss it, and it was revised a couple times, because we saw some other versions before the one was passed, and this one finally did, you know, confirm that, you know, the issues forum MCFEC, a new technical board might be created, so it's nice to see the county actually confirm those, because it was just kind of, you know, said, you know, word of mouth, so, that was nice, and Keith's done a good job of kind of, I think, expressing our concerns on that resolution too. So, and like you say, we'll stay engaged, and it is on everyone's mind. Every meeting I go to, transportation comes up now. So, all right, any council comments or questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, any public comment? Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, any other matters, council?
I don't have any tonight.
Nothing.
Councilmember French?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, I don't either, so can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.